Since 1966, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
Hi there, friends. Do us a favor, please. Find a comfortable spot, the couch, recliner, heck, even a futon. We just want you to kick back and enjoy the latest ag news and features.
Yes, just don't get too comfortable. We'd hate to lose you before the first story. With that said, here's what's coming up. As Georgia continues to grow, so does the pressure on its farmland. We're going to show you how a new program is helping farmers fight back permanently. To that point, a powerful testimony. His family has farmed the same land for 4 generations. Now Madison County's Russ is making sure the 5th has a chance to do the same.
Plus, a not-so-appetizing story. Yes, shrimping season is underway along Georgia's coast, but fewer boats are hitting the water. Why an iconic industry is facing some rough seas. These stories and so much more right now on the Farm Monitor. We've heard it for years. Georgia is losing farmland at an alarming rate. However, John Holcomb shows us how a first-of-its-kind program is giving farmers a way to protect their land for generations to come.
Since 1985, Georgia has lost at least 1.5 million acres of working and wildlands to development, and that pressure isn't slowing down. And for farming families who have worked the same ground for generations, the threat of losing that land for good is very real. According to Catherine Moore, president of the Georgia Conservancy, the stakes for Georgia's agricultural economy couldn't be higher.
The predominant landscape in our state is in fact working lands. We have over 22 million acres in forestry, and we have about 10 million acres in working farms. That is by far the bulk of our state's land. Our working lands are the factory floor. If we do not have these acres protected and operated by good stewards, then we're not going to have the products and the jobs that those working lands produce.
In 2023, the Georgia General Assembly responded with the Georgia Farmland Conservation Program, a first-of-its-kind initiative in the state dedicated solely to keeping farmland in farming. Moore says the program is built around a legal tool called a conservation easement, and for landowners who've been thinking about how to protect their property long-term, it's one of the most powerful options available.
A conservation easement is a simple legal agreement that allows the property owner to continue to see their land remain in their ownership, again, their enjoyment and use, be it simply for recreation or as a working landscape. But they've given up some of the development rights, and those rights are given up in perpetuity, and the conservation easement is attached with the deed, and that property owner has the comfort of knowing the land is always protected from certain types of development.
In perpetuity, a word that can carry a lot of weight for farming families, as Moore says that permanence is exactly the point. Georgia has lost too much ground to development that can never be undone, and says the program gives landowners who are motivated to conserve a way to make that commitment binding, not just for themselves, but for every generation that follows.
A conservation easement is in perpetuity. That gives a lot of property owners who are focused on legacy of the land, protecting it from future development pressures. It gives them that peace of mind to know that the acres that they have cared for, some of them for generations before them, a future as a working land or a natural land versus being under threat of development.
And the program doesn't just ask landowners to give something up, it rewards them for it. Moore says participating landowners can receive a one-time payment for the development rights that they permanently surrender, making the decision both a legacy choice and a financial one.
So the landowner walks away at the end of a transaction like this with the comfort that they have protected their land forever to continue in the use that they have enjoyed and prospered from as a family, as an individual, and also they have been provided with financial compensation for the value of the rights that they have given up.
For more information on the program, simply go to the Georgia Department of Agriculture's website. Reporting in Hawkinsville for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
In other ag news, farmers have been saying it for months. The numbers just don't add up. Now, a new analysis from American Farm Bureau suggests the financial outlook for many producers could get even worse. AFBF economist Faith Parham explains just how big the losses could be and what's driving them.
On the row crop side, we're seeing a loss of $31 billion for crop year 26, going down to $32 billion in 2027. So again, seeing those worsening losses across the country. For specialty crops, it's harder to get a national number, but we know they're facing some of those same issues our row crop farmers are and continuing to lose money per acre.
It may be America's most popular seafood, but for Georgia shrimpers, popularity hasn't translated into profits. Damon Jones explains why cheap imports are making it harder to compete.
It's officially shrimping season off the coast of Georgia, where crews are hard at work pulling in the more than 2 million pounds harvested each and every year. However, the number of vessels on the water has now shrunk to a 20-year low, due in large part to the increasing competition overseas.
Those imported shrimp generally can come in at a lower cost. And so that is one problem that they have competition with. And because of the cost of just upkeep of a ship, keeping a fish house running, fuel costs, time, workforce, they really need to be able to compete in the market and get the price they need to support their businesses.
While 90% of the shrimp eaten here in the U.S. might be imported, there is still plenty of room in the marketplace for this local wild-caught product, as it provides both higher quality and a peace of mind when consuming.
It's going to be fresher a lot of times. It's really high in nutrients. When you know where your food is coming from, you can also trust the safety of it. And I would also say that it's just really good to get to know the people that are growing the food that you're eating. So you can feel good not only about what you're eating, but supporting the people that make that possible.
That includes processing facilities like Anchored Shrimp Company, which grades, packs, and even peels freshly caught shrimp in order to meet demand. It's the type of operation that is becoming few and far between, as more land along the coast is being developed.
The other challenge that Georgia shrimpers face is the demand for already peeled and deveined shrimp, which requires a great amount of processing, a working waterfront space, water resources, and more. And as our coastlines change and get developed, without thinking about the seafood industry, a lot of that capacity to provide the market what it wants for domestic shrimp becomes very hard.
Even though Georgia shrimp might cost a little more at the store, those local dollars go a long way in supporting an industry that has been struggling for more than a quarter century, which has resulted in a yearly drop in supply.
So currently, the United States does not capture enough shrimp to fulfill the consumer demand for shrimp. So the imports will always probably be here, but the thing is we need to make a space for Georgia shrimp in the market as well.
Reporting from Brunswick, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
What would it take for you to sell your family's legacy? Well, for one Georgia farmer, the answer is simple. That's next when the Farm Monitor continues.
Hey, I'm Ryan Ireland from Turner County, Georgia. I'm a fourth generation farmer, and we grow cotton, peanuts, corn, watermelons, and run about 50 head of mama cows throughout the year. I wanted to become a farmer mainly because it's all I've ever really grew up around. Both sides of my family's been connected in farming, have farmed for generations. So I grew up pushing little toy tractors on the carpet, so I was around it my whole life. So despite the challenges in agriculture, the farmers are resilient. I mean, it takes a very, very special person to be a farmer. And I truly believe that God handpicks them, because a normal person doesn't want to do this. I mean, there's everybody looking from the outside in, it looks great until you get out here and actually do it. And then you realize, like, you gotta be kind of crazy to do some of the stuff we do.
From higher costs and uncertain markets to the rapid growth that's eating away at farmland across the state, Georgia farmers are facing no shortage of challenges. For Madison County farmer Russ Moon, those aren't just talking points. They're a daily reality. In a conversation that's about much more than farming, Russ shares why he believes the future of agriculture depends on the decisions we make today. Before we talk about the challenges facing farmers today, tell me a little bit about this farm. How long has it been in your family, and what does it mean to you personally?
Well, I'm the fourth generation farmer here, and you know, this right here where the strawberry stand sits was my great grandmother's house, and you know, the road took it out in '97, and so I'm the fourth generation here on this farm, and you know, and it's just the heritage of it, and just agriculture. When you're a farmer, agriculture is just in you, and you know, and I want to see it thrive. I want to see the next generation come on and pass it on to them. I mean, so much we do is looking forward to the next generation, and that's so important to me that I pass it on to my kids, and you know, hopefully they're going to want to do it too. And you've watched Georgia change dramatically, Russ, over the years. When you look around you today, what is the biggest difference that you see in the Georgia now compared to the Georgia when you started farming? It's the amount of people. I mean, the amount of people moving into this state, this area, it's definitely growing. You know, the traffic on the roads and the amount of people looking for houses, and that's driving the development. You know, and naturally I know that it's coming, but it's definitely, the amount of people in this state has really grown over the last 10 years. Yeah, also known as urban sprawl, that's what they call it. So one of the newest concerns too are all the data centers. I understand technology is changing, data centers are needed. What is the biggest concern that Georgia farmers have about these data centers, and why are they such a concern to farmers? Well, I mean, I hear just like everybody else, it's the amount of power it takes and the amount of water it takes. You know, what's the quality of water that's, you know, that they're producing, or none of us really know the impact of the data centers, and I think in one sense we all need them, but nobody wants it right here next to them, and that's kind of where we're at. Of course, Georgia has long been known as the #1 state in which to do business. But for farmers, that growth comes with difficult questions. Every year, productive farmland disappears, replaced by neighborhoods, warehouses, and now massive data centers. Farmers like Russ Moon say once that land is paved over, it rarely comes back. The challenge now is figuring out how Georgia can continue to grow without losing one of the industries that helped build this state in the first place. Why not just sell, Russ? That's what a lot of people will say. Somebody comes to you, offers you a ton of money. Why not just take the money, run? You're set for life. Why is it not that simple for Georgia farm families? My life's not for sale. This is my passion. It was my grandparents' passion, my father's passion, and hopefully my kids' passion, and that's really not for sale right now. You know, and I hope it's never for sale. And you have spoken a lot about the Georgia Farmland Conservation Fund. What is it? Why do you believe in programs like this, and in what ways can they actually help Georgia farm families? Well, we talk about growth. We talk about, you know, growth is coming, and we have to understand that yes, it is coming, but we can have growth as we preserve as much farmland as we can. I think we got to have both. Yeah, when you can't stop growth, I get it, but we've got to preserve what we can when it comes to farmland, and we're kind of behind the 8 ball on that. We're several years behind where we need to be with that, because it's the growth is outgrowing what, you know, this program that we just started. I feel like we're a few years behind, and hopefully we're going to catch up.
Right off the bat, you mentioned generations. When you think about your father or even your grandfather and the sacrifices they made to keep, you know, the farm going, what responsibility do you feel to the next generation to keep things going? Maybe 20, 30 years down the road.
Well, but I mean, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now without my father and my grandfather, and I think we got to remember that and hopefully pass it on a lot better than I got it. And you know, we are borrowing it from the next generation, you know. And there's a lot of things that I have to do to stay diversified and to make sure that we have enough land, because, you know, we rent a lot of land around here and a lot of it's for sale. So, you know, we've bought as much land as we can afford. You know, land prices is kind of outrunning, you know, trying to buy it now. That's too far gone. We just got to try to pay for what we've already purchased, and hopefully, you know, where it comes to be the strawberries or anything like that, just so you may have to change kind of how we do things and do it with less acres.
And as far as future grandchildren down the road, what are your hopes when their time comes? If they're looking out over this land, what do you want them to see?
You know, I hope that agriculture is just engraved in them, just like it is me, and have that desire, because it's not easy. You know, farming. You know, Mandy joked the other day, and she read something on social media that said life is hard. Marry a farmer and it'll be harder. You know, it's a lot of truth to that, but we love what we do, and it goes back to that passion, because it takes passion to get up every day and fight through the droughts and the low prices and the adversity that's, you know, it's hit us. It hits us quite often, you know, and it's just not just row crop farmers, it's chicken farmers, it's, you know, it could be cattle farmers. I mean, it's always, adversity's always in front of you.
Meanwhile, Russ says some of his own land has already been placed into a conservation easement, a step he hopes will help keep at least part of his family's farm in agriculture for generations to come. If you are new to the program, welcome. Also, if you missed any of today's stories or want to watch past episodes, you can find them all on our YouTube channel. Just plenty of time though. Our video library stretches all the way back to 2009 with hundreds of stories covering Georgia agriculture and the people who make it happen.
And while you're online, be sure to follow us on Facebook. You'll find behind-the-scenes photos, the latest agriculture news, exclusive content, and even the opportunity to suggest story ideas. So give us a like and a follow on both our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and become part of the Farm Monitor family. Up next, from a Bronx kid to a cow care connoisseur, he's milking success at its finest, how this Georgia dairyman is nurturing nature through the practice of responsible farming.
I always used to joke in the old days that sustainability also means that you don't go broke. A well cared for, high producing cow is a lot more carbon friendly than a cow that's not cared for. It's a large dairy, and we have 12,000 milking cows. I was born in the Bronx in New York City, and my father wanted to keep me out of trouble, so I used to get to work on a dairy farm when I was a kid. I've always liked working with cows. I learned how to trim feet and take care of the cow at an early age, and it's stuck with me. A cow is a wonder of nature. She's a ruminant animal. They have 4 parts to their stomach, and the massive part of their stomach is the rumen itself, which is basically like a large fermentation vat. We basically feed that rumination vat, and then that cow feeds herself with the microbes and the protozoa in that vat. Corn silage is our #1 staple. We feed about 50 pounds of that to a cow a day. The cow is a tremendous recycling machine. The cow eats all kinds of things that humans can't, and they're very healthy for her. We feed wet brewer's grain. You ever drink a beer, you're probably also feeding the cow. We keep this stuff out of landfills, and we get a valuable, nutritious product on the other end. Every time the cows go out to get milked, housekeeping comes in. We flush the barns with lagoon water, which is recycled water. All the water that we use to cool the cows goes in that lagoon. And twice a week we add fresh sand to the stalls just so the cows have a clean, dry place to lay. I always say I want it clean enough that you can wear your prom dress and your high heel shoes down and not get dirty. The biggest recycling that we have on our dairy is the irrigation of our manure water to our fields. This manure gets all flushed down and goes through this series of lagoons, and the solids fall out and get separated out. So right now it's the spring of the year, and the corn's just coming out of the ground. It's just been planted. It needs nitrogen. The manure has nitrogen, so we spray that manure on our fields. That irrigation is like gold to that corn plant. It's got gets the nutrients plus the moisture all at the same time. It's a great system. Everything's getting used. We've gotten more sustainable and reduced our carbon footprint as an industry tremendously. A high-producing cow and a well-managed cow that's comfortable, she will make almost twice as much milk on a little bit more than half as much feed. Our cows get milked on this massive merry-go-round that holds 120 cows, and we milk about 900 cows an hour. The cow gets in, she gets back, and she gets to go and do her own thing. It's real important that they get milked fast and safely. Coming to work should be a joy. And don't get me wrong, it's dairy and it's extremely hard work. But if you love it, it's fantastic because it's got so much challenge to it.
Special thanks to the Dairy Alliance for that, and thank you for making this show possible.
For everyone here at the show, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.